Hi kids, here's an interesting story for you. This story is called A Fraudulent Saint. This story is from Chandamama Stories 2007 January edition. In the village of Vishnupur, Yogi Krishnananda held discourses on the Bhagavad Gita for a fortnight. The villagers assembled in large numbers to listen to him. The landlord Ram Singh made it a point to attend the discourse every day along with his friend Arun Verma. He was very much impressed with the discourse, which left an everlasting impression in his mind. On the concluding day, the yogi finished his speech by saying, "Salvation should be the ultimate goal of every human being. To attain it, one should be guided by the spiritual preceptor over a long period. I request all of you to search for a guru who would lead you to the path of salvation." The concluding remark made such a profound influence on Ram Singh that from that day he started searching for an ideal guru. His long search ultimately yielded result. He came to know of a great saint, Swami Nityananda, living in an ashram at the foothills of the Himalayas, having thousands of followers in the pursuit of salvation. At once, he decided to take refuge at the holy feet of Nityananda. When he announced his decision to his wife Sita, she was shocked. "Please don't take such a hasty decision," she pleaded. "Our sons are still growing. We have not really settled down in our life, and your responsibilities towards the family are not yet over. At this stage, you can't leave us and go and live in an ashram." But Ram Singh was adamant. He had already resolved to follow the path leading to his salvation. His wife's wailings fell on his deaf ears. He called his friend Arun Verma and said, "Friend, I have decided to go to Nityananda's ashram and pass my remaining days there. I entrust the responsibility of my family and my property to you." One fine morning, he bade goodbye to his family and friends and set out towards the Himalayas. After a long journey, when he reached the ashram, he was a bit surprised. It was not a simple one as he had imagined. It was a majestic building with multiple stories, full of pomp and luxury. Many devotees were waiting in a long queue for his darshan. His disciples were numerous. One of them interviewed Ram Singh since he was a newcomer. Ram Singh was intrigued at the way the disciple asked him questions probing into the details of his property. When it was found that Ram Singh was a wealthy man, he was ushered into the presence of the saint immediately. Ram Singh fell at his feet and paid obeisance to him. "Long live, my child," blessed the saint. "Your name must be the name as Dasharatha Putra. Though you are a rich landlord, I can see that you don't have peace of mind. You want to attain salvation. Am I right?" Ram Singh was wonderstruck. He wondered how the saint could know so much about him. What he did not know was that the saint had already been briefed by the disciple who interviewed him. He said with folded hands, "You are right, Swamiji. I want salvation." "Be with me forever to attain salvation," said the saint. Then he waved his hand in air and got a fruit. "Take this prasad," said he, and gave it to him. Then Ram Singh was taken to a room for his stay. Contrary to what he expected, was a luxuriously furnished, and he was entertained with excellent food. From that day onwards, he spent his time cheerfully in the ashram, participating in bhajans and listening to the discourses. One day, he was ushered into the presence of the saint. "My child, please listen to me," said the saint. "You came alone into this world, and you will go back alone into the heavens. Your property will not follow you to the heavens. In fact, your property is the stumbling block on your way to salvation. Get rid of it. Give your entire property in the charity to the ashram. Only then can you think of attaining salvation." Never a truer word had been said, thought Ram Singh. Immediately he wrote letters to his wife and Arun Verma. He advised them to keep the house and 1 acre of land for the family. They should find a prospective buyer to sell the rest of the lands. He would come personally to sign the documents, sell them, and collect the money and return. He wished to donate the proceeds to the ashram. His wife Sita had the shock of her life on reading the letter. She became hysterical with grief and anxiety. Arun Verma consoled her and suggested a plan to restrain her husband from going ahead. Varma took the village chief also into confidence. After a few days, Ram Singh received a letter from Sita. He boiled with anger on reading the contents. It said his friend in his absence had cleverly transferred the documents in his name and he was now trying to sell the property. Immediately, he rushed to his village and confronted Arun Varma. What a cheat you are! I had entrusted my property to you in good faith and you have stabbed me in the back. I won't leave you. Let's go to the village chief to settle the issue. Both went to the chief. Ram Singh accused his friend for treachery and requested that his property be restored to him. The chief said, "Let me check everything in detail. Before I check, I want to know certain things from you. I learned that you are going to donate the sale proceeds to Saint Nityananda's ashram. Is it true?" "Yes, sir. Swamiji had told me that I could attain salvation only on renouncing my life totally. It means that you are prepared to renounce your wife, sons, relatives, friends, and all other worldly possessions for the sake of your salvation. Am I right?" "Yes, you are." "Ram Singh, if you are going to renounce everything, how does it matter whether your lands are in your possession or in your friend's possession? What will then my wife and sons do for their future? Why should you worry about them when you are going to renounce everything? It shows you are not yet mentally prepared to renounce anything. Again, why should your guru ask you to donate the money to his ashram? Do you think that greedy saint who wants to lay his hands on your property will lead you to the path of salvation? How can you attain salvation by shrinking your family responsibilities? Is it what the Gita teaches you? I think you are confused. Please think clearly for a while." Ram Singh was perplexed. For the first time, he realized that he was not going to achieve salvation by forsaking his family responsibilities and surrendering his property to a fraudulent saint. "Sir, I think I made a great mistake. You are right. The saint seems to be a cheat. I won't forsake my family for his sake. But how do I get back my lands from Arun? For your information, Arun has not taken your lands at all. It was a drama enacted jointly by us to prevent you from taking the wrong step." "Is it so?" asked Ram in disbelief. "My friend, do you think I would have ever thought of backstabbing a friend?" said Arun Varma. Ram Singh hugged his friend fondly. "My friend, you have saved me from taking a totally wrong step in my life." So that's the end of the story. I hope you all like this story, kids. I'll be back with another interesting story in the next video. Until then, bye.